Daenerys' goal is to take Cersei out of the throne, and Cersei's goal is to keep to be on the throne. Sorry for the spoiler, but there's kind of a spoiler warning on the description. And but yeah, now that she has assumed power, she has become way worse than the main antagonist of the entire show, who is no longer. So it flips the coin in a last minute effort in which they have to stop her because she has gone full mad. And we have to see into what all of that develops. There's a lot of theories around the internet about Jon Snow becoming king, even though he reluctantly has said that he doesn't want to. Daenerys, most of us, I think we're pretty much clear that she's on everyone's hit list, and everyone is on her hit list. So we will have to see what develops there. So the purpose of this podcast, making swipe or fading into our next topic, the purpose of this podcast was mainly to talk about a first look into the OnePlus 7 Pro, and which we're going to be taking on later on. But one of the main purpose of this podcast was to talk about that phone. But the thing is that we keep talking about Game of Thrones because it's something that has steeped so much in us, and many people. And I know a couple of followers of the podcast who are really into Game of Thrones, so that's why we do this. So moving on officially to, I think this is officially the podcast starting right here. Without further ado, our main topic is talking about the OnePlus 7 Pro, which came out this week. The OnePlus 7 Pro, with the OnePlus as a brand, has been for a while looming around, and they have built these mobile smartphones that are being nicknamed the flagship killers for a long time. Every time they do one of their new phones is up with the specifications, with the specs of all of the main flagships. And I'm talking especially between Samsung, Apple, and LG. Because even though a lot of people, you see a lot of people and a lot of reviewers with other phones such as the Motorola Razr and Motorola and Google with the Pixel phone. The thing is that the Google Pixel now, for the first time, is available in Puerto Rico, and the thing that happens in Puerto Rico tends to happen around the world. Phones like the Google Pixel, the OnePlus until recently, and Google Pixel, OnePlus, the best phones that Motorola has to offer, they do not make it to Puerto Rico, and they do not make it to most of Latin American countries. So we're mainly stuck with three options. It's either LG, Samsung, or Apple. As you know, there's a huge battle between Samsung users and Apple users, Android users and iOS users. The thing is that the OnePlus 7 Pro, it bridged the gap between both of these groups in a really marvelous way. The thing is that the Oxygen OS, it behaves as, even though in a look and display perspective may look mainly as Android, you can customize it, and the flexibility of it and the complete lack of lagging, which is something that is really good, makes the Oxygen OS system, I feel it like a hybrid between Android and OS. That's how it feels. So I have told many people this, that a lot of people, they come to me and tell me, I don't know if I should switch from my iPhone going to the OnePlus 7, and I say you can do it. It is really easy. If you got the curiosity, it's not bad. You don't like it, most of the carriers, you have 7 to 14 days. You can take it back, go back to your format. But I will You have to try it. You have to try it because it goes way beyond the specs, especially in this one. And my story with the OnePlus, I've been following the OnePlus since the first one, but started to closely follow the OnePlus brand from the OnePlus 3 to this point. And the thing is that I never had one in my hands. So when they came to Puerto Rico, and there's in the case of Puerto Rico and Latin America, they're available exclusively only through T-Mobile. So T-Mobile is the only carrier that has the exclusivity of OnePlus, and they started out with the OnePlus 6T, which I wanted it since it came out, but I got on a couple of months ago, and that's one of the most amazing things. I don't think if it is one of the most amazing things because it is something that could become later a huge problem, and it is that OnePlus right now in production. I think let's be clear on this. These people are like mad crazy. They're nuts. They released a phone right now on May, and they're gonna be releasing another one on November, and they have stated that they're gonna be doing this pace. So in the same year, you get 2 flagships. And if you're in, I don't know about your carrier, my carrier is T-Mobile, but on many carriers, you have an option of getting an equipment and then changing your equipment, and for that it plays good for the carriers because in my case they already got this year alone. This is my second OnePlus phone, and it is thanks to the Jump on Demand program from T-Mobile, in which you can change your phone every 30 days if you please. You start over with your new phone. So I got mine around February because I had a really bad and a lot of economic hardship throughout December, January, and the beginning of February. So when I got the OnePlus, it was later on that year because it was hard for me to get it on the moment that it came out. So when we moved forward to where we are now, it came out this week, and it was I'm gonna be completely honest. My girlfriend calls me and she tells me the OnePlus 7 is out. I didn't even knew that they were doing this. So when I've been mostly focusing on a couple of themes, it has been cannabis, as you have heard it, entertainment, a lot of Game of Thrones, as you have heard already. And when we moved from to where we are now, I got completely lost. The phone was unveiled at the beginning of I think it was May 14 on New York, and on May 17 it went around a nationwide event on which the phone was unveiled, and the phone is really amazing. This is the funny thing about this phone. It is that the specs that this phone has is mostly closer to a laptop, not even a tablet, a laptop. We're talking about 256 gigabytes of memory. We're talking about 8 and 16 gigabyte RAM options. In the case of T-Mobile, I was mistaken. It is 8 and 12 gigabytes of RAM option, which is laptop power right there. That's not even tablet power. That's laptop power inside a phone. And it's got this 48 megapixel camera, but I have to be completely honest. I have had the 7 Pro for around, let's just say, I think like 36 hours. It's been on my hands. I think 36 to 48 hours. And the phone is amazing. The phone is really amazing in the way that it has a lot of storage, doesn't have lagging. The 60 was really great. So I was, even when it came out, since I'm in the Jump on Demand program, I could get the new one. But I was thinking like, I was like, do I really need it? But when I started seeing these specs, and I'm doing most of the work through most of my works, I think not only the podcast production, all of my social media work it gets done through the cell phone, so through my smartphone, and I've made that because, okay, let me be completely honest on that one. I have sort of a laptop or something left of a laptop, but it doesn't work with what I'm doing right now, like adapting microphones, headphones, a lot of stuff. And I have found a lot of functionality in a smartphone. The thing is the portability of it. I could go anywhere with it. And with the Samsung QU2 microphones, for example, and mixed with this, I don't need a laptop. I don't even need a tablet to do a podcast, and it's really amazing. And I like working in this kind of environment. I have got way too used to this kind of environment, and the thing is, I live a really fast-paced life. I'm working my 8 to 9 hours a day. If I build a commute onto that, it's around 11 hours that I'm working. Besides that, I'm working on social media, and I need everything in a solution in which I don't have to be switching like devices. I cannot do that. I cannot afford to do that. So that's why it has become such an important part. And I took the leap of faith, not only based on the specs of the phone, but mostly on my experience on the 60. It has been a great experience. No lagging, no problems. I think I got the only the only con that I could say about the OnePlus 60, one of them, the notch on the top of the screen. Okay, it's not like a huge or big deal. To be honest, it's not like a huge or big deal, but to me, as a person who is a little bit, I try to take as much attention to detail as I can. I found the notch like really distracting and not serving a great purpose. So what they have done with this phone right now is that they eliminated the notch. They replaced the speaker system with a Dolby Atmos system. For those of you who live in Puerto Rico, that's the same sound system that is used in the CXC cinema theater, in the CXC option or cinema right here in Puerto Rico. And it's really amazing because the funny thing about the sound system is that when I started like testing the speakers, I was like, okay, the sound is great, but it's not all coming from the small speaker on the bottom. So where's this sound coming from? I was like, there's another speaker, but it's like the speaker comes through the display. And when I was looking, it is really hard to find, but there's a speaker in the upper part of the smartphone, a really thin line that is like a micro soundbar, and it does not interrupt the whole display. The display stays completely clean. Right now, this phone has done something that has surpassed Samsung, Apple, and LG at once. The three main companies have been kicked to the ground with this one. The complete display experience is completely uninterrupted. And what I mean by that is that they are going to a place. This company, I'm gonna be completely honest, this company is really scary because they're getting close. I think they are going so fast because it works for them, which is something really, really amazing. It works for them. I think, I wish to think, because I don't know if this is certain, this is a theory of mine, is that these people, actually, they have laid out the goals for this phone, and what they do is that they set out to get these goals by certain deadlines, so they can get the phones on the deadlines that they had promised of two new phones every year. So I don't know what they're gonna come up with the OnePlus 8, because at the level that they are right now, they are actually like gonna be leaving Apple